excited about is the amount of academic awards. Students with a 3.5 GPA or higher, students with consistent appearances on the principals and superintendent's lists. Those are big deals because that means you're achieving what you need to achieve when you need to achieve it. If for some reason you feel like you were missed on one of these, after we're done, stop by to myself or Ms. Williamson. We'll make sure we check in. Sometimes it's as simple as maybe a box wasn't checked, or sometimes we're off by a point or two, but we'll make sure that we check that for you. The first awards we're going to start giving out actually come from the County Educational Service Center. So these are the people that kind of organize a lot of our educational programs. And these are for students in grades 9 through 11 who have a 3.5 GPA or higher throughout the entire year. When you come down, we'll hand you your certificate and we'll start lining this way. We're going to do each class individually. So we're going to start with our 9th graders. For 3.5 GPA or higher, we have Tayden Blevins, Liam Conway, Colton Dahm, Hayden Davies, Madeline Dittmer, Jacob Farno, Lexi Hake, Molly Hall, Evie Hoffman, Reagan Holland, Morgan House, Jalen Hurd, Jalen Johnson, Kellen Laird, Brisa Landros, Avery Landman, Braden Lee, Grace Oswald, Pratap Patel, Tayton Reynolds, Drew Rogers, Audrey Cerise, and Ava Spalding. This is our 9th grade class, 3.5 GPA or higher. Give them a round of applause. All right, in 10th grade, 3.5 GPAs or higher, Belle Anderson, Ethan Kozier, Miranda Ott, Bree Melling, Luke Poole, Ethan Oswald, Kylie Vaughn, Dylan Graves, Logan Baker, Abby Wilson, Grant Deaton, Ashley Green, Nick Brubaker, Taryn Rucci, Miles Rogers, Aiden Kale, Josie Steiner, Joshua Oswald, Mason Patton, Hannah Henderson, Zach Lawson, Kylie Ray, Elizabeth Kiefer, Cooper Smith, and James Baker. Yeah, take him back there. Yep. All right, and that is our 10th grade class with the 3.5 GPA or higher. And now in 11th grade, final class to give out today, Nick Berry, Sam Castile, Jalea Coffey, Drew DeWitt, Kinsey Everman, Maddie Fisher, Ellie Hake, Cooper Lee, Gretchen Lee, Blake Oswald, Aiden Pearson, Evan Porter, Aaliyah Raymert, Joey Roberts, Addie Sparks, Hayden Toothman, Draken Utley, Jameson Watts, and Thelma Weldy. This is our junior class, 3.5 GPAs or higher. One more round of applause. All right, as we continue, gentleman up in the corner, thank you. Please remember, let's be respectful to one another, but I want to go ahead and introduce our history department, our social studies department. We'll be giving out our various social studies awards.
Good afternoon. I'm awarding one student the Excellence in World History Award this year. This is going to an individual who's maintained a 100% quarters 1 through 3 and currently has a quarter 4 grade of 100% as well. An individual who works really hard in class every day, asks great questions, participates, and I believe has had 0 missing assignments all year. The Excellence in World History Award is going to Mr. Drew Rogers.
All right, I'm giving an Outstanding History Scholar Award to a student who had an A every single quarter, currently has an A, and has just been outstanding in history class, participating in discussions, assisting other students with understanding concepts and things like that. So the winner of this year's award is Dylan Graves.
Okay, I'm giving one award for outstanding performance in American government. This is more of a citizenship award. This student has had great grades all year, but also brings a lot to the conversation in class, always a good citizen towards the other students and myself. So this year's award goes to Jameson Watts.
Next, I'd like to welcome our English Language Arts Department to give out our English Awards.
Hello. So I only have one award to give out, so I didn't forget anything today. But it is for Excellence in English 11. This student has maintained a really high average throughout the year and always goes above and beyond, and it's a real pleasure to have in class, and it goes to Maddie Fisher. Don't look too happy. There you go, dear.
Hello? All right, I have three, one for yearbook, one for myth and legends, and one for English 10. I'll start with, it ain't any of you guys, so I'm sorry. Yearbook, Ellie Hake for helping out and basically teaching me what I need to do. For the myth and legends, just because this student pretty much knows exactly what he's talking about at all times, but he doesn't talk very much. Darius. Chicken butt in front of the whole school. All right, and then for English 10, this student really cares about their grade and is angered if she doesn't have an A. Logan. Sorry guys, maybe next year. I'm sure I'll see you again.
All right, y'all, this is gonna take a second. I apologize. Whew, this day always makes me a little weepy. And if you had me as a teacher, you know that that's pretty on par for who I am as a person. But I just love you guys so much, and while we are so proud of you, it's also hard to know that I won't have you in the same capacity next year. So very proud of all of my students this year. Sorry, trying to organize this, so I'm just kind of, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started with English 9. This student has maintained the highest grade this year. An incredible individual. You will not find them without a book and their nose in that book. Asks amazing questions, is just a beautiful human, a wonderful person, and someone I will miss dearly. That goes to Miss Brisa Landeros. Here you go, baby girl. I love you. All right, for my freshman, essentially honors class, my freshman literature and writing, these two individuals also maintained a 100% all 4 quarters. Incredibly bright, outstanding young individuals. If either of them ran for president next year, I would vote for them. And so I would like to award this to Pratap Patel and Morgan House. All right, I have 3 more, sorry. My next is in literature and film. This is my Spielberg Award. So this is to my most creative, most inventive, most innovative young filmmaker. This student goes above and beyond in everything that they do. And I, for years, just about 5 years now, have been continually inspired by this individual, Mr. Evan Porter. All right, I'm almost done. Sorry. All right, so the last 2 that I have are it's a new award that I wanted to start this year because the 2 individuals I'm about to announce have actually gone on to write their own books. Not essays, books with chapters. So these 2, this was done entirely on their own. This was not an assignment that I gave them. I am sure that I am the inspiration for all that they do. However, this was all them. This was not me. So I would like to award a personalized journal with a very inspirational message from myself and Toni Morrison inside to Odessa Sailor and Joshua Snow.
All right, now to give out some of our mathematics awards, we have Mr. Moore.
Didn't know I taught math, did you? I have the privilege of awarding for Mrs. Brown today. This student asks for help whenever needed. This student is always willing to help others when needed. Whenever she was absent, she completed her work and would come into intervention to get caught up. She's a pleasant individual and has maintained the highest average in Algebra 2 for this year, 2023. The meritorious Algebra 2 award goes to Logan Baker.
And now with science awards, our science department.
Good morning. Okay, so I have one award to give out because I already gave out most of mine to seniors for my anatomy and zoology classes. So I have my biology, outstanding achievement in biology. This was a really difficult decision. There's a lot of really stellar students, and I applaud each of you that are in my class, but one kind of stood out this year. He asked a lot of the questions that a lot of people were wondering, but he had the boldness to usually ask those questions and stand up for his own opinions, even if it wasn't the same as mine. Kellen Laird.
All right, so I have 3 awards today. I'll start with forensics. This forensics class has probably been one of the best. They're always increasing the conversation, asking the questions, sometimes not the comfortingest questions, sometimes more of a worry than anything else. But with this class, it was really hard to figure it out, but I ended up going with the highest average for the first 3 quarters, and that award goes to Madeline Fisher. The next award I'm going to give out is chemistry, and this chemistry class, it was hard to pick too because they're all high achieving. They do a great job in class, and they always put in the work. So with this one, I also went with the highest average for the first 3 quarters, and that award goes to Brianna Melling. And then my last award goes to my physics class. This class was a joy to have this year. I've had all these students in the past, and being able to work with them and kind of having a good feeling with them really worked well. This one doesn't go to the highest, but maybe one of the hardest working students I had in the class this year. Not always the best, but always ask the questions when you need to get the answers. And that award goes to Jonathan Wilson.
few awards. It's hard for me to make a decision most of the time. But these are for my freshmen who have physical science. I do have a plaque for one student who kind of embodies the nature of science every day. I can see them sit in the room and think everything I say over. May not always ask questions, may not always engage, but off to the side will say, hey, what about this? And this award goes to Drew Rogers. Along with that, I have a few awards for, I kind of have two groups, one for what I would call some of the hardest workers in the room, and another set for individuals that showed a lot of improvement, not just this year, but I have the opportunity to see you grow from 7th grade to now. So I have a little bit of a wider data pool to look at. So these individuals who consistently work hard every day: Kenton Johnson, Hunter Rubush, Jacob Farno, Evie Hoffman, who is not here, for my students who have improved, it's not just grades, it's personal growth as well. Evan Hoke, I won't keep him waiting, Hunter Weber, Brisa Landros, Macy Collins, there she is. You're welcome. Chase Wills, and RJ Vermillion.
All right, with our Foreign Language Award, Mr. Dan Clark.
Okay, I'm first going to start actually with the award that's already been awarded to our Spanish 2 student who happened to be a senior but wasn't here during senior awards because she did not get her $1 Clark Foundation scholarship with, hold on, where is it? Her $5 inflation cost. This person had the highest average. It was a person that I immediately recognized was too good for Spanish 1 and moved her into Spanish 2, Lily Berge. You asked about your scholarship. You gonna get it? The Spanish 1 award goes to a person that despite many challenges and an environment that can sometimes be a little crazy, this student excelled above and beyond anyone else in Spanish 1. They weren't alone because there were other students who did really, really well, but this person just edged above them, and it should come as no surprise to most of you. Pratal Patel. And now for the award that one person in particular has been waiting for all morning because the person wouldn't stop bothering me to find out if it was in fact her. So she's already smiling because she knows it is. She is now receiving the award for excellence in Spanish 3, Miss Kinsey Everman. You knew. And I had to fight through this super quiet.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Jordan could not be down here. She's teaching 6th grade. So I am going to recognize our choir and steel band awards. I know they got their award yesterday, I believe, at the banquet, but I would still like them to come down and be recognized. So for the Choir Rising Star Award, Ms. Ava Spalding. And for our Advanced Steel Band Rising Star, Kellen Laird. For our High School Steel Band Rising Star, Drew Rogers. High School Steel Band Outstanding Musicianship, Josh Wells. And High School Steel Band Directors Award, Thelma Weldy. And now with our art awards, Mr. Kyle Holster.
Oh, thanks. Every day. All right, so I base my art awards off of who has the highest grade point average for the entire year, well, up to third quarter when we submit awards. In Art 1, I have a tie this year. So for Outstanding and Excellence in Art 1, we have Miss Avery Landman and Miss Reagan Holland. All right, and for Art 2, keeping their streak alive is Miss Bree Melling.
And now with our FCCLA awards, Mrs. Roxanne Laird.
Okay, so we went over senior awards for FCCLA in regards to Global Foods and the Blazer Brew. So I would like to now award the juniors who qualify for that. Cooper Lee. Moritz Hahn. Drew DeWitt. Cadence Hammonds, Hayden Toothman, Draken Utley. The Global Foods class had a really big year, starting the Blazer Brew and working hard to give the teachers different things. They really put a lot of hours in for community service and met those hours. So they had a really good year. I know today they're anxious to find out who won the food truck battle, and as of right now, I know a lot of you are not here, but you can share that we still have a tie between Boone's Burgers and the tacos. So still a tie, waiting on a few more votes. I will let you know, but great job. You guys all did an excellent job. Not technically an FCCLA student, but I'd like to have Kellen Laird come down. Just a big thanks. He comes in every Tuesday and Friday morning with me and opens up the Blazer Brew. Okay, nutrition and wellness. So we just had a cupcake wars as well. Thank you for those who are judging cupcakes, tasting. They were judged on the cake, the icing, the decorating, the display, just the overall everything. Lots of votes came in. It was very tough. It was very close. So in second place, we have the Reese's cupcakes. And you guys can come on down if you're in that group. So Logan, Abby, Zach, Taryn. And then in first place overall, this is out of both classes, was our Barnyard group. So Bree, Megan, Henry, and Nick. So you guys can get a candy, and then you guys can get a candy right here. And then I know you're going to have to work Tuesday. But they all did a great job. Thank you for working so hard on those. And then just overall, I didn't do just grade point average, but I had a lot of students who are at 100 or really, really close with final coming up. But this student just overall does a great job, not only with grades, but just in the classroom, communication, working with others, teamwork. I mean, just all the things that FCCLA is all about. Abby Wilson. Okay, moving on to personal financial management. So the freshman students just completed a goal project. I told them I would pick a winner to the best goal project. This is sponsored through FCCLA, and it's just called Build a Better Me. So you're just trying to set a goal in a way that you can become a better person throughout the semester. And those projects were just due this week, and I just got them finished up. And the best goal project for this year goes to Pratap Patel. And then overall, again, just not only grades, but really good grades, great classroom, communication, class participation, helping others, really a lot of the skills that FCS is all about. This award goes to Morgan House. Thank you.
Returning to the podium with the Credit Recovery Apex Awards, Mr. Steve Moore.
I just want to make a couple of comments here. I've really enjoyed my year here, my first year, and I can tell you all that this is an excellent school. I've been to some of them in this county, and National Trail's the best one, all right? And one of the reasons it's the best one is because I think we had an excellent senior class that led the way. There's a lot of excellence in that class, and they set a high bar for future classes. Another thing about this school that's great is that it gives opportunities for students that struggle a little bit to have a second chance, a third chance, sometimes even a fourth chance to get it right. And this year, I had the opportunity to watch that in action. I only had one student, though, that got 100% of the credits that they had to get. Many others almost got 100%, but only one did, and I want to recognize that person. But before I do, I want to say this. Your job is to put me out of a job. The only reason I have a job is because you didn't do your job in the classroom by not passing your classes. So, make that a challenge for yourself for next year, all right? Put me out of a job. all right? That way I can stay home and watch some of my favorite programs like Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and I Love Lucy and Andy Griffith Show and Beverly Hillbillies. I'll be quiet. Okay, that's enough. I want to recognize Jonathan Sturgill.
Now with our counseling award, Ms. Williamson, Mrs. Dunn, and Mrs. Schrody.
The following students have been counseling hallway aides this year. They are supportive, great listeners, and always willing to help. Ms. Dunn, Ms. Schrody, and myself are greatly appreciative of you, and thank you for the time and effort you put into being our aides. So our aides this year were Samantha Castile and Hannah Holzapple. This year, we are implementing a new underclassmen award for Hope Squad called the Lifesaver Award. This award is granted to members who truly embody the Hope Squad mission. While all of our members have done an amazing job, there are two individuals that stick out for going above and beyond. These two have been a huge support to many of their peers. They have utilized their training and their kind hearts to have positive interactions and conversations that have resulted in several individuals receiving support. I am confident that these interactions have contributed to helping save lives. They have carried out the Hope Squad mission so well, and we are very proud of them. Thank you, Isabel Anderson and Hannah Henderson.
And now with Intervention Team Awards, Mrs. Lias.
Good afternoon. So I just want to take a quick minute to recognize a student for all of his extra time and effort that he puts into his schoolwork. Most days you can find him in my room working after school. And anyone who knows him knows that being in a classroom or really being inside at all isn't on his list of favorite things to do. But despite that, he's chosen to be responsible and do what he needs to do, and for that I am super proud of him. Darius.
All right, Mrs. Swihart could not be here, but she wants to recognize our Media Center aides. So those are Cooper Lee and Drew DeWitt. And with our office aide recognition, Mrs. Jean Brower.
Good afternoon. These people are so important, not only in the office, but in the classroom aides as well. We run you all over. We ask you to do anything from a very important job to a very medial job. So we thank you so much. We could not do it without you. First, I want to recognize Jalen Ditto. I absolutely love this kid. Get a bag over on the table. Madeline Fisher. She is not only an aide, but she's also my therapist at times. Thank you. Give me a hug. Bag. Eleanor Hake. She keeps us on our toes, for sure. Gretchen Lee. She usually gets the brunt of it because she's first block, and that's when it's the craziest in the office, so we appreciate Gretchen. Thanks, babe. Grab a bag. Last but not least, we have Michael Wallace. He's a middle school aide. And he goes back and forth for us without any hesitation at all, so thank you so much. Grab a bag.
And with our Renaissance Awards, Mrs. Cindy Hope.
Okay. This is an award for our first year Renaissance Awards. This is our first year back from COVID. In recognition for exceptional leadership qualities, innovative thinking, commitment to promoting positive change at the National Charles School District. And I'd just like to thank these students. They've done above and beyond what I've asked them to do this year. There has been so much that we expected, and then we kind of pushed them to the limit with all their other duties and other activities that they're in. So thank you very much. And Isabel Anderson. Morgan House. Thank you so much. Eleanor Hake. Bree Melling. Addie Sparks. Cooper Lee. Lexi Hake. Kendall Johnson. Evan Porter. I have a few. Thank you, Evan. Ava Spalding. Thank you, Ava. Nick Brubaker. Yeah, you did. Henry Tushlove. Thelma Weldy. Hunter Rubish. Madeline Fisher. Evie Hoffman. She here? Oh, okay. Hayden Davies, sorry. Sorry. Thank you, dear. And Avery Lehman. Thank you so much. And that's all. Thank you all.
So what I'm getting ready to award for the rest of the school, and this is another one of those real big ones with a lot of names. which makes me really happy. But what makes me happier is that I still have more beyond this through our next two. So I'm going to be getting ready to give out the Principal's Honor Roll Awards. So these are students who have been consistently on the Principal's Honor Roll all year. And for those of you who don't know, this means that you have achieved a 3.333 GPA all year long and not had more than one C. So that's a pretty darn good accomplishment. That's, if I'm thinking of an academic-minded student or a scholar, that's what we're getting out of this. So we're going to go by each class again, starting with our freshman class. First off, we have Tayton Blevins, Braylon Coffey, Colton Dom, Hayden Davies, Jacob Farno, Lexi Hake, Molly Hall. Gentlemen, thank you. Evie Hoffman, Jalen Hurd, Jalen Johnson, Braden Lee, and Audrey Cerise. For our sophomore list, Nick Brubaker, Hannah Henderson, Elizabeth Kiefer, Aiden Kale, Zach Lawson, Josh Oswald, Mason Patton, Kylie Ray, Miles Rogers, Taryn Rucci, Cooper Smith, Josie Steiner, Jackson Thacker, Samantha Castile, Jalea Coffey, Madeline Fisher, Eleanor Hake, Cooper Lee, Evan Porter, Joseph Roberts, Addison Sparks, Hayden Toothman, Draken Utley, Jameson Watts, and Jonathan Wilson. Did I go straight in? Did I go straight into junior now? I did. Okay, we're good. My bad. All right. And now our superintendent's honor roll. So this means you've achieved, I believe, a 3.75 or higher, as well as nothing lower than a B throughout the school year. Again, congratulations to all of our students who earned this. Starting with our 9th grade, Liam Conway, Madeline Dittmer, Reagan Holland, Morgan House, Kellen Laird, Brisa Landros, Avery Landman, Grace Oswald, Pratap Patel, Tayton Reynolds, Drew Rogers, Ava Spalding. For our sophomores, Belle Anderson, Logan Baker, Grant Deaton, Dylan Graves, Ashley Green, Ethan Kozier, Bree Melling, Ethan Oswald, Miranda Ott, Luke Poole, Kylie Vaughn, and Abby Wilson. And for our juniors, Drew DeWitt, Kinsey Everman, Blake Oswald, Aiden Pearson, Aaliyah Raymert, and Thelma Weldy. Students, if I can give you one piece of advice throughout the rest of your high school career, is give yourself a reason to be positively recognized by your peers, your teachers, or the staff around you. Because as you can see, many of you have made an impact on the staff here, and you will continue to make an impact upon the staff up through that point of graduation and beyond. I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of the achievements we have, but that doesn't mean we got to stop. We're still going to keep moving forward. We're still going to keep getting better. We're still going to keep growing. So with that, this concludes our program for the day. If you are a freshman who got the 3.5 award at the beginning, since we didn't get a group picture, I'd like you to come down before you go back. Everybody else may return to intervention, then fourth block.